Is there such a thing as a integrity checklist for companies? Yes, there is. I put it in my book, Integrity First Selling, and there are 18 questions. And I'm going to go through 9 of them in this video and 9 of them in the next video. Whether or not you're part of a sales team that's a part of a large company, a Fortune 500 company, or just a small 2-3 person company, or yourself, I want you to pay attention to these questions because they apply to you. Number 1, is there a clear definition as to what the values are of the company? And do they apply to everyone, regardless of their position? As I get to work with companies all around the world, I see this, and there's a level of values for one level of the company and another set of values for another level of the company. Wrong. It's got to be uniform across the entire company. Number 2, does management value each salesperson as an individual? Yeah. Every individual has their own personality. Every individual has their own challenges, their own strengths, their own weaknesses. And they got to be valued as an individual. And this applies not only to salespeople, but to everybody in the company. Number 3, is there zero tolerance for offensive language or anything else that could make an employee or customer feel uncomfortable? You see, selling with integrity is taking the higher road. Anybody can get in the gutter, throw mud around. Boy, we see this all the time in politics. We see this all the time in different things. But integrity-centered people and integrity-centered companies don't do that. Number 4, are vendors treated with respect? Whoa, now, this is not a pass to be easy on them. No, this isn't about being easy on vendors. You can demand things of vendors that you can't of employees. You really can't. But what I'm saying is that, are they treated with respect? In other words, all of the things that we've said for the other 17 questions, do they apply to vendors? And in turn, is their behavior the same thing that they expect? In other words, if they're treating us with offensive language or just offensive acts, do we tolerate that? No, we cut them loose. We don't allow them. Number 5, do meetings start and end on time? Now, whoa, you're saying, where does this come from? Very simply, if meetings start and end on time, not just some of the time, but all the time, this demonstrates a respect of time. This respects human contribution. And it's amazing how what we do inside the walls of the company quickly become the behavior outside the company. In fact, all 18 of these questions do just that. Powerful, but meetings got to start on time. Number 6, does management honor the personal commitments of salespeople? In other words, when salespeople do something significant, do they honor them? And do they honor the commitments regardless, or I should say, in regard to their family, their health, etc. In other words, if an employee is if a salesperson is sitting here saying, "Hey, I've got to take some time to deal with an aging parent or a sick child," does the company accommodate that? Knowing the job's still got to get done. The job, not holding people to their results that they're expected to achieve, but saying, we do accommodate this. Same thing with physical fitness. It is all about accepting and realizing that the most vital asset of any company is the employee. Treat them right. Number 7, is there zero tolerance for any behavior on or off the job that does not align with the values and morals of the company? In other words, I can't have a person who 9 to 5 behaves one way in the company, and from 5 to 9, they behave totally different. No, I can't allow, because in this social media driven world, there is no such thing as checking out from the company. You might say, hey, how do we administer that? A simple thing is this. I have seen this time and time again. The way a person behaves outside the job quickly becomes how they behave inside the job. Yeah, I really do see that. So behavior that does not line themselves with the values or the morals of the company, I've got to really call into question. Because maybe they say, oh, I can keep that outside the company. But that slowly but surely seeps its way into the company. Yeah. Number 8, is there zero tolerance toward any employee, regardless of their role, who engages in an unethical activity? Again, whether it be inside the company with a customer or vendor, and is it dealt with immediately? In other words, if somebody does something to somebody, and this is regardless of whether it's an employee, a customer, a vendor, whoever it might be, cannot be tolerated. Cannot be tolerated. You see, selling with integrity within a company is going to a higher standard, because here's what I've found. If a company has some rogue employees, it is amazing how the company will quickly become known for the behavior of the rogue employees. You can't afford to have that. Yeah. Now, in next week's video, I'm going to share with you questions 9 through 18. These are tall orders. And I will admit, I have rarely run into a company that can say they follow all 18 of these. They're all works in progress. But you've got to keep them in the forefront. You've got to keep them be observant. And this is whether or not you're a solo salesperson or part of a large organization. I've shared these questions with senior level people of Fortune 500 companies, and it's created some powerful conversations. This content is all from my book, Integrity First Selling. I want you to grab a copy of it. It's essential. It's essential reading, essential application, because in this world that we're in, selling with integrity is more important than ever. Hey, I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. I'll see you in the next video where I'll cover 9 through 18.